This is the Volkswagen Arteon, and if you've been paying attention, you know that this isn't exactly a new car. In fact, we've already featured this as part of our AutoBuzz Best Car selection back in 2021. So why on earth are we reviewing it now? Well, for one, there's actually been a mid-cycle update that has given this car a few more useful features. But I think there are also a lot of reasons why you might still want to consider this even today. Number one, and I think the main reason why anyone is considering the Arteon is its looks. I mean, you can't tell me that this doesn't look good. It has been around for a while. In fact, you can actually trace its design all the way back to 2015 when they first unveiled the design concept. But nearly 10 years later, I think the design here still holds up very, very well. Evergreen even. I mean, look at it this way. This production car was first unveiled around the same time as the previous gen Mercedes-Benz E-Class, and I don't think you can really say the same about that car. Now, a lot of that I think comes down to its unique fastback silhouette. The long bonnet, the sweeping roofline, and the wide haunches all help contribute to the Arteon's super sporty profile. And because of its smooth sweeping lines instead of the aggressive angles, I think this here is also a lot easier on the eyes, which probably means that it'll stay good looking for a longer time. Even though it is on the older side, the Arteon still comes with all of the so-called premium grade standard equipment that you'd expect from a modern D-segment sedan, like the projector LED headlights that do a little dance every time you start the car, the 3D LED taillights, and even sequential turn indicators that for some reason is still the mark of a premium luxury vehicle. The wheels are 19 inches, still pretty much the biggest in its class, and we all know that size does matter. I also really like this little black tailgate spoiler that really does amp up the whole sportiness of this car. But if all of this is still not fancy enough for you, well, what about this? Frameless windows on all four doors. For someone who's buying a car like the Arteon, well, this might be the biggest detail. Just check out how big the boot space is. Now, Volkswagen says that this here is 563 litres of cargo area. But what makes this car stand out against its rivals is the length of the boot space, making it perfect for golf bags. In fact, I think you can probably fit 3 or even 4 golf bags inside here, so it's just nice for a flight of golf. And because the tailgate also opens up like a hatch, you also get very easy access to whatever is inside here. The only way that I think can make this space even better is if there's an easy way for me to fold down the 60/40 split folding rear seats. Oh, and also if they add a lock car button on the powered tailgate. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are already furiously typing away on your keyboard saying that, wow, at this price, I might as well buy a C-Class or a 3 Series. Well, those cars certainly have their pull, and most notably on the emblem on the tailgate. But the Arteon has something that both of these cars don't, and that is space. I mean, just check out the amount of knee room I have over here. It's almost ridiculous. I can sit like this, I can sit like this, or I can even sit like this with my leg up and I won't feel cramped at all. And that's because the Arteon is really a D-segment sedan, measuring some 150mm longer than the 3 Series, and most of that space is found right here. Now, even though this has a sloping roofline, honestly, headroom is also pretty good as well. Normally, when you buy a car like this, chances are you'll be ferrying around your family or even seated at the back here yourself, being chauffeured around by a driver. And with this kind of space, it's definitely going to win this car a lot of brownie points. Still, chances are you'll be spending most of your time in the driver's seat. So what about the rest of the interior? Well, if simple and clean is how you make something stay good looking for longer, then I can definitely see where they are going with this interior design. It is maybe a little too German about it though, because while yes, it is clean and minimalist, there's also not a whole lot going on here. It's not offensive, but there's also not a lot to shout about. I think if there's an analog clock over here, or even some jewel ornaments here and there, that will really do this car a lot of good. Looks aside though, I think this car is still very well equipped, like a modern D-segment sedan should. There's the Napa leather upholstery, the nice satin silver brightworks on the dashboard with a little bit of textural pattern to it, the 30 color ambient lighting system, the 3-zone climate control system with a separate control panel for the rear passengers, and even a 700-watt 12-speaker Harman Kardon sound system that actually does sound really nice. And these seats, they are powered for both the driver and passenger with this 14-way of power adjustability. That itself already makes this the best seat in the class. And as a driver, you also get a few more extras like the memory function, the adjustable thigh support, and even a massage function for those long drives. The only thing that's really missing here is seat ventilation, and you'll definitely feel the heat on these leather seats, especially on those super hot days. But when they look and feel this good, I think I'm willing to give them a little pass. But what I think that really helped keep the cabin looking as fresh and modern as it is really the screens. Well, they are on the smaller side of things here, measuring just 9.2 inches for the infotainment display, and it's also positioned a little bit too low for my liking. But in actually using it, it is jam-packed of features. For one, I can actually change pages without actually touching it, and the sound effect that it makes me feel like some kind of kung fu master. Okay, fine, that is a little bit of a gimmick, but this screen here really comes with a lot of things like a navigation system with pretty good POI information, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity, and this vehicle settings page really does give you complete control over the entire car right from this screen. Heck, I can even control this digital instrument cluster over here from this screen itself. Speaking of, this digital instrument cluster here really does give you a lot of customization options, from the different data points that you can set to even completely different views like a full screen maps if you really want to. And I think these little things really do set the Arteon apart from some of its competitors, primarily those from Japan, because all of these are really thoroughly engineered together rather than just throwing everything from the parts bin without much thought. These segment sedans have a sort of reputation, or maybe even stereotype, of being a little bit uncle to drive. Well, it does make sense given that they are family cars after all, so comfort always comes first. But the Arteon, well, it is not like your typical D-segment sedan. And the main reason for that is none other than the iconic EA888 2-litre turbocharged engine, making 280 horsepower and 350 Nm of torque. And with that, the Arteon here is still the most powerful D-segment sedan on the market today. With that firepower, this uncle car can accelerate from 0 to 100 in just 5.6 seconds. And the best part is, the engine's tuning actually fits the character of this car very well. Because it's not those kind of punch in your gut kind of acceleration, but rather it's very gentle, but yet still a very strong surge of power. It really does feel like those old school big CC engines that you used to find on this kind of cars back in the days, because everything is just so smooth and measured, but if you're not paying attention, you can still go very fast. Like most Volkswagens, this here also comes with a 7-speed DSG dual clutch gearbox, which as always is super snappy and crisp with its gear changes, so you can really just accelerate on and on when you put your foot down to the floor. What's special about this car is that it also comes with the 4-motion all-wheel drive system, similar to the one that you'll find in the Golf R. Now you tell me how many D-segments out there actually has all-wheel drive. The extra traction definitely does help with putting down all of that torque and power from the engine down into the ground. So taking off from a standstill really is as simple as just mashing down on the accelerator. Helpful for those traffic light drag races if you are into those kind of things. But I think when this all-wheel drive system really does matter is when it starts raining, like it does so often here in Malaysia. It really does give you the extra bit of confidence in the wet, especially on the highways where you'll probably be spending most of your time in this car. Now, it is a world-class cruiser first and foremost, with the amount of power that makes overtaking on the highways completely effortless. But fast sweeping corners, the Arteon also handles it without breaking a sweat, and even in the twistier roads, the car still stays completely planted with the electronic differential lock or XDS system really giving you that last bit of traction to pull you out of the corners. On that note, you'd actually be surprised at just how much fun this uncle car can actually be. The steering is sharp and direct, giving you a lot of confidence to just throw it into the corners. But the real magic here is with the DCC adaptive dampers. The DCC system on the Arteon automatically changes the firmness of the suspensions between the different drive modes. But you can also go in there and really just fine-tune it yourself with some 15 levels of granularity. So you can go from supple and wafty on the highways to rock hard for the back roads, and also absolutely everything in between. It really is a car that can do anything. That said, I really do have to emphasize that the Arteon here really does feel more at home as a comfortable cruiser. Now for me, I tend to stick somewhere in the middle near the normal range, so it's soft enough to soak up all of the road undulations, but still firm enough to give me information through the wheels, and also balanced enough so that I don't get too much body rolls in the corners. Now remember the updates we talked about at the start of the video? The big ticket item here is the new iQ Drive ADAS kit, which comes with things like the adaptive cruise control, autonomous emergency braking, lane departure assist, and blind spot monitor, finally bringing the Arteon up to par with its competitors. And they're not here just to pad the spec sheet, because they do actually work very well. The system here slows down and picks up speed very smoothly, even when there's a car suddenly merging into your lane in front of you. But what I like the most about it though is the fact that you can actually go into the settings and choose how aggressive you want the acceleration to be. It also works all the way down to a standstill, so you can still use it in the traffic jams. That honestly takes away a lot of the stress when it comes to driving, especially after a long day of work. And when you pair that to the quiet cabin, even with the frameless windows, driving the Arteon really can be a very serene experience, just what you'd expect in a D-segment sedan. The big question then is if the Volkswagen Arteon is worth the asking price, because you'll be paying some 288,000 ringgit for one of these, or 300,000 if you opt for the extended warranty and service package. At that price, the Arteon really isn't the cheapest option, because you're also pushing up against the likes of the C-Class or the 3 Series that you all seem to know so much about. But look, everything else has also been creeping up in price. The Camry, that is 250,000 ringgit, and it certainly doesn't look as stylish as the Arteon over here. Sure, it doesn't have the same kind of brand prestige that the BMWs or the Mercedes has, but what it is a all-round package, giving you a good balance between style, space, technology, and also driving experience. It's a kind of car that is designed for those who know exactly what they're looking for, those who value the little details, and those who are not afraid to look past the surface level. Because when you dig a little deeper, you might just find some hidden gems like this one over here. These segment sedans are really going extinct, and if you are shopping for this kind of cars, you really don't have that many more options left. But for me, the Arteon here really still shows why this kind of car still matter, and it's still a strong contender that I think is worthy of your consideration. Let me know if you agree with me in the comments down below, and if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to click on the like button because it really does help us out. Also, if you want to see more of this kind of reviews, well, subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.